Hey, CJ Gex here, and I want to talk again about green reading, if you will, slash the types of grass. The types of grass you play on are extremely important. Let me just identify first here in the United States. If you are pretty much in the south or the southern part of the US, all right, you will probably be looking at Bermuda greens. If you are in the north, you are playing bent grass, and if you're over on the west coast, California, you're playing Poa annua. So those are really kind of the three types. Now, here in Dallas, we have bent grass. Now, in order to keep that grass, it takes a lot of maintenance. We are actually switching our greens this year from bent to Bermuda because the temperature in the summer just is too hot, and we've had these for 30 years. But again, it's just not going to happen. So we have to go to Bermuda to really keep these greens alive and keep them playing well in the summer. So understand, what does that mean? When you're playing on bent grass, the blade of the grass is very fine. Okay, in other words, the grain's not going to affect anything. When you're playing on Bermuda greens, the blade is a lot thicker. It'll pull the ball, it'll actually move it, and really where you're going to see a big difference is uphill or down grain. When you are down grain, now again, we're on bent grass, but just stand in the middle of your green, look downhill, and you'll probably see a shine. Look uphill and you'll see a darker colored green. That's really how you identify, am I down grain or into the grain? To do this, to really experiment with it, grab a putt that looks shiny, hit one downhill, maybe 15, 20 feet, maybe put some quarters or 2 holes, and then putt back up. And notice the difference. There might not be much of a slope, but you're going to see a lot of difference in the grain. So if you can identify grain, that's huge. Look at the cup. When you are looking at the hole, if I'm on Bermuda and it's going this way, well, there's the blade here that's going this way is going to get cut off. So this side of the hole will be brown. So you know which way the grain's going to go. Will that affect the left to right or right to left? Absolutely. How much? A little bit. Depends on how far long your putt is. So for the most part, as an aim point instructor, we really don't teach grain. We don't say it's going to be that big of a difference because, again, if you're from 20 feet and you're missing a putt by this, that's pretty good, right? Again, if you're a tour player, you want to say, hey, I really want to make just that extra one putt, pay attention to the grain, okay? You need to identify that grain. The biggest key when you're putting on grain is, are you uphill or downhill? Because that will affect the speed tremendously. If you're in the West Coast, Poa annua, okay? Poa annua is a weed that will pop or blossom later in the afternoon. And that's why you see a lot of tour players, they actually skip the AT&T Pebble Beach tournament because of that weed. It's kind of hard to putt on. When you are putting on that one and or Bermuda, you have to make sure your stroke is a little bit shorter and a little bit more accelerating, a little bit more jabby. So pay attention to that because that will adjust or make you manipulate your stroke. If you're putting on bent grass, you want long, syrupy, smooth strokes. So hopefully that little tip helps about the grain. Identify where you are. If you're not sure, go talk to the pro. They'll be able to answer that question for you immediately. Hope this helps and improves your golf game.